We need a party album, but you keep taking all of Party's albums to put it on your party album. What up guys, my name is Ijaji Prime here again with another album review. This time we're talking about PartNextDoor's P3. Now PartNextDoor, he's a Toronto singer and you could say rapper and songwriter. He's also a producer. He's currently under OVO and I'd say he's Drake's favorite signee. On this album you see dark and moody themes that are characteristic of that Toronto sound, which has all but been sort of attributed to OVO. This album is very moody, very emotional, also has some moments of very sensual feelings. I would say on this entire project it seems like PartNextDoor was really inspired by old school R&B and sort of go the more traditional R&B. The main themes here are mostly talking about love and sex, or hoes and sex. I would say that on a 16-track album, if that's really all you have to offer as far as content or the themes, it will get played out, it will get boring. But there are moments on this track where you see really the influence of PartNextDoor in this OVO, in this current pop scene. You have songs like Not Nice, which sounds like a one dance or Work or Too Good, which you could say that PartNextDoor has had a hand or single-handedly made all of these songs. The problem with Not Nice is not that it's not a good song, it's that we've had so many of these kinds of songs these years that it doesn't sound authentic, and it can be a bit painful when you are the person that creates this sound. PartNextDoor was responsible for Work. 1985, who is also part of Division, also helped produce this track. Now on this album, mainly PartNextDoor takes hold of the writing and the production of this. I think he's a very proud creative with all the work he does, so he was responsible for most of the writing and most of the production. Towards the latter end of this album you had 40 Pie Hopes, the intro track. It's a long track but it does sort of set the mood of the album. Spiteful is also a nice song, and my favorite would probably be Brown Skin. Now moving on to the problems I had with this album. Like I said earlier, when you have a 16-track album and you're mostly talking about sex, or most of the instrumentals really sound very similar, it will get boring. I think maybe it wasn't necessary to have a 16-track album, maybe cut it down to 12. Another thing is that this album eerily resembles Views. Now, this could go both ways. It could go in a way that because of the success of Views, PartNextDoor could also have success in that, or it could go in the way of because people have already heard Views and the sound of Views, they won't really want to mess with this album. I would say the reason why this sounds like Views is obviously PartNextDoor, collaborator of Drake, so they work together very closely. Another thing with this album is that the songwriting at parts was a bit lazy. I'm not expecting, you know, the deepest lyrics here, but PartNextDoor is a very capable writer and I would expect more detailed writing in some of the songs. The instrumentation was good. It really did set you in that mood. The songs themselves were well constructed. I just feel like the sound on the album was really monotonous and it can be bad, seeing as you've had Majid Jordan drop, you had Division who also went in a similar fashion of traditional R&B, you had Roy Woods who just dropped recently, and then you had Views. So even though OVO is churning out a good quality music, a lot of this music is sounding similar, but I don't know, it could work for them. They could all be massive hits. I know Roy Woods is doing well as well, and I hope that PartNextDoor would do well. So while we're on the topic of PartNextDoor and Drake, I feel like this would be a good place to sort of talk about what people are saying that PartNextDoor gives all his hits to Drake. I don't think there's anything wrong with Drake working with PartNextDoor, because you would be naive to think that PartNextDoor doesn't work with Drake. I do think that Drake has a lot of influence on PartNextDoor as well, and if PartNextDoor chooses to collaborate with Drake, that's really nobody's business. There haven't been any reports coming out that says PartNextDoor that is not enabled to release music. He's been releasing tons of music. For you to say that he's giving all his hits to Drake means that you do not have in his own ability to create music for himself. Like I said, this is a solid body of work, and PartNextDoor has put out consistently good music for his fans. I think it's unfair, not just to Drake, but to PartNextDoor for you to say that he gives all his hits to Drake, because then you would be saying that PartNextDoor can't make hits for himself. And I think fans should be patient. Every artist has their time to really go out and become that megastar. We'll see with this album how its reception is. I think it's still early to know how people will receive this album. I have a feeling it will be good. My only worry was because it sounded a bit monotonous. But yeah, those are my thoughts on PartNextDoor's album. I would say if you enjoyed Views, you should listen to this. If you're a fan of Views, the fan of the OVO Toronto sound, definitely listen to this. If you're a fan of R&B as well, you'll find this album quite interesting. If you don't like OVO, you don't like Drake, you hated Views, then you're most likely not going to enjoy this album, so there's no need for you to spend any time on it. But these are just my opinions. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're new around here, why not click subscribe and check out some of my other content. And my name is Dijaji Prime. Hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.